welcome back to Book and Prejudice. My name is Mar, and today we're going to be chatting about all of the books that I read in October, as well as everything that I want to read in November. Because I didn't read much in October, I'm also going to be chatting about all the books that I bought yesterday. So grab your drink of choice. I have a tea because I'm feeling quite sick. And let's get going with the video, shall we? Now, as I prefaced, I didn't read much in October. In fact, I read 2 books in October, which is not great. But it is what it is, and what it is not great, as we just said. The reason for that is because I started really strong with 2 5-star reads, and then I started reading a book called The Absolute Book by Elizabeth Knox, and I don't know what it was. It put me in a bit of a slump, if I'm honest with you guys. Also, like, I changed jobs, and so I changed jobs. I was reading a book I didn't like. It was just like a bit of a lot of many a thing. So that book kind of put me in a reading slump. So let me talk about the books that I did read. And then we can go from there on, okay? The first book that I did read, 5-star, and I think my favorite book that I read in October, which is ridiculous to say because I only read 2, is A Fate Inked in Blood by Daniel L. Jensen. Now, this follows Freya, who I'm guessing is this girly. She is trying to conceal the fact that she has a drop of blood, of a god's blood in her. Because if people knew that, that would make her an incredibly important and powerful weapon. Now, shockingly, it comes out. Like, people find out about it. And she is thrown into the kind of the mercy of the Jard, which is kind of a king, but he wants to be like a supreme king of everything. And she's essentially used as a weapon, and she has to navigate doing that whilst coming to terms with her power and her new position within the world. And the reason why she has to do it is because the Jard is going to kill literally everyone that she loves, which I personally didn't like them that much. But you know what? Each to their own. They're her family. Support your troops, whatever you want to say. So yeah, we kind of follow Freya. I will say this book was full of plot twists that I fully saw coming, and I have proof because I would call Fetty and I'd be like, is this gonna happen? And she'd just go like this, I don't know, and cover her face. So but that being said, it was so entertaining. It was so fun. I heard it's a duology, which I'm confused. I thought it was gonna be like a full series. But then I saw on Instagram that she had announced that the story concludes, and that's book 2. So I guess it's just a duology, and it comes out soon. So I'm very excited to read that. Well, soon, next year. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really fun read. Like, it wasn't like high stakes or anything, but I thought it was really fun. I also read Rouge by Mona Awad. Now, if you know me, you know I loved Bunny by Mona Awad as well. I love her because she just writes weird books. Oh, it matches my nails. She writes weird books, and I really appreciate that about her. Her book Bunny, I like still don't know what it was about, which is why I think I liked Rouge a bit more, because I definitely know what this book was about. I definitely know what was happening. Sometimes I was confused, but I was more so confused with the character, just rather because we didn't have all of the information, because the character didn't have all of the information. And we follow Belle, whose mother has just passed away, and we find out she was part of a cult for beauty, which is called La Maison de Méduse. Yes, La Maison de Méduse, the house of the jellyfish. And we follow her. She kind of follows in her mom's footsteps to try to feel closer to hell, whilst also coming to terms with the death of her mom. And I think it was just so fascinatingly, interestingly done. I think it's such a good book. It was a birthday gift from a friend of mine, and it was such a good book, such a good gift. I really liked it, and it has a personally, I like the ending to this book more than I like the ending to Bunny. So I read these 2 books. I also started reading and continued reading Outlive by Dr. Peter Attia. As I said, I'm not looking to finish this book, but I really am liking this book. I like how they showcase health, and I like how they are about their like I like how it explains things, and I don't think it's a very preachy book, so I'm really enjoying it. But I won't go into that because I've read like a few pages. Not in a hurry on that one at all though. And I also started a photo finish, which I will be finishing very soon by Elsie Silver, but I didn't finish that. So that's kind of what I've read. It's been a really weird reading month. So for November, my plan is to finish a photo finished by Elsie Silver, continue reading the absolute book, but like spontaneously. Like, I'm not going to hurry through it because I don't want to go in a reading slump. So I'm just gonna read it whenever I feel like reading it. It's in my nightstand. I'll keep at it. Like, it's gonna stay, it's gonna be done. I'm just not gonna put a pressure on it because I've already read like 200 pages. I know more or less the gist of it, but I'm still very confused by a lot of things. And it's a 600-page book. It's a big book. It doesn't look like it, but it is a very big book. So I'm just gonna take it very slow. Just read it whenever I feel like reading it. Not in a hurry at all with it. I'm also going to be reading for my bestie book club, Us in Ruins by Rachel Moore. And Us in Ruins follows Margot Rhodes, who goes to Pompeii because she wants to find these, is it a vase? The vase of Venus, Aurelia, which hasn't been seen since 1932. And she has no idea what she's doing, but she knows she can find it because she's following a book of poems and investigations that she found from a guy called Van Keens. This is Van Keens. So as she's kind of finding her life, she realizes that there's a statue of Van Keens that comes to life, and Van Keens comes to life. And so they're both of them together trying to find this this vase thing, right? So we're reading this as our book club. I'm gonna be starting this one immediately. I'm very excited to read it. Apparently, I recommended it to my friend Celia. I don't remember doing that, but I'm very excited to read it. It looks low stakes, fun book. He also looks super broody, which I appreciate. Next, I'm planning on reading Marina by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. Now, this is a reread for me, but it doesn't count as a read. I read it when I was 8. And I'm not going to be reading it. I'm going to be listening to the audiobook. I have it all looked and loaded because this is the book that we're reading for my Edinburgh Girly Book Club, which is, it's just a bunch of girls. Like, we get together, we drink wine, and we chat books. So this is the book that we're going to be reading, and I'm very excited to read it. And I'm not too sure what it is about, and I don't want to look into it too much because I've forgotten just enough that I think that the reread will be really fun. So I'm very excited to do that. But yeah, I like Carlos Ruiz Zafón a lot. I think he's one of the best authors I've read in my life. So I'm very excited to listen to the audiobook, see how it goes. I've heard great things about the Spanish one as well, so I'm going to be doing that one. But I'm very excited. I cannot handle a British accent being Marina and Adria. I cannot handle that. So I will not be doing that. Anyways, the next books that I'm going to be showing you guys are actually you've already seen, right? The next 2 books. I was meant to be reading them in October. We're putting that aside. Celia was absolutely smack on right. I did not read the books, but here we are. Round 2, baby. The first one is Ava Reed's Lady Macbeth. It's a retelling of Macbeth. I haven't personally ever read Macbeth. So, will this be my Shakespeare? Maybe. I really like Ava Reed. I really like how she writes. I really like The Study in Drowning. So I'm very excited to read this. And I think arguably November is better for spooky month. It's a more spooky month because the days are shorter. I have to come back from work in the dark, which is always scary. And I'm just excited. So I'm really excited to read this one and follow what the lady has to say about Shakespeare's Macbeth. Very excited. That fell. I'm also going to be reading The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo, and I really want to read this one this month. As I explained in my previous October TBR video, it follows Lucia, who is in part of a household. She's a maid, and she's working and she has powers that she's keeping very quiet because she doesn't want to be burnt at the stake, because this is Spain during the Golden Age. I say that very lightly because, you know, I wouldn't personally consider that, but that's how it's known. And then her mistress, like her owner, because she's a slave essentially, finds out that she has magic. So she's like, I'm going to use you. I'm going to use you to get what I want. And she wants power and position in society. So I'm very excited to read this because it takes place in Spain. Very excited. It takes place in the city that my sister lives in, Madrid. So it'll be nice to just be like, oh, this is what you do, girly pop. And the next book that I have is All the Devils by Kaylin Wilson. First of all, this copy is just, it shouts November. Because like, it's all black edges here, but like very dark black. And also, if you open it, look at those moths. I love it. I'm very excited to read it. So I'm going to be reading All the Devils. It follows the story of, I think hers, Andy. Andy, whose sister dies. Goodbye. Except she goes to the funeral, and when she goes to say goodbye to her sister in the casket, she sees it's not her sister. Her sister's alive. So she decides to go to her sister's school, Ravenswood Academy, to try and figure out what the hell has happened to her sister, because she knows that they are somehow related to what's happened. And, you know, I know that this is just going to be a riddle with cliches. You know, the academy is called Ravenswood Academy. Sister that's dead, but not really. Like, it's going to be like cliche after cliche after cliche. But I'm very excited to continue reading it. I'm very excited for it. And now I'm going to talk to you guys about the 3 books that I bought. Because I bought 3 books yesterday for no reason, actually. And I will be honest about that. The first book that I read was Powerless by Lauren Roberts. And the sequel, Reckless. Now, I've been looking into buying these books for a little while. I've heard so many good things about them. And the reason I decided to buy them is because I got the Waterstones edition, the special edition. And first of all, let's just look at the dust cover, right? It's nice. It's the same cover that I've seen everywhere. But you open it. Fabulous. How pretty is that? I don't know how to get it. There you go. It's gorgeous. And then the book itself is an absolute, like, look at that. Front and back, purple sprayed edges, a purple map. It's gorgeous. Like, it's actually stunning. I couldn't pass it away. And then the Reckless one is like same thing. Again, the cover exactly the same one that you've always seen all like throughout. And then if you look it around, red spread edges. Look at that. It's just gorgeous. So I was like, you know what? This is a sign that I need to get them. And then lastly, I also bought The Will of the Many by James Islington. This is kind of like it takes place in like a fantasy Roman-inspired world. And we follow Viz, who is got a secret, and he has to infiltrate an academy and try not to get caught in his secret, which is the most cliche thing ever. And I'm very excited about it. So that's what I bought. That's what I've read. That's what I want to read. It's quite a short video this week because frankly, I didn't read much. Like, between the change of jobs and everything, it's been chaos in my life. But I've been at this new job now for a month. I feel like I'm getting my bearings. I'm very excited to go back to normalcy. By normalcy, I do mean more reading, more videos, and more fun stuff. So I will be seeing you guys very soon with another video. And if you like this one, don't forget to like, subscribe, all that jazz. I'll see you guys next week. Bye now.